Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Popcast on the Rocks. Another episode. This is episode 25 for July 10th, I guess, already. How you doing, Andrea?
I'm doing well. So glad that it's Friday. TGIF. Cannot tell you how
Yeah,
long this week has been. So,
that's right. You said you had a
yes.
lot of projects at once.
Yes, I did. And I managed to get everything that was basically essential done.
Okay,
But yeah, there was a lot of overtime. So I'm looking forward to maybe taking some vacation or something next week just to take a break. But
cool.
for now, the weekend will do.
Yeah,
How are
nice.
you?
Good. Um, we just talked like 2 days ago for our midweek spoiler cast, if people
True.
didn't catch that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess as far as new within just that amount of time, Housewives is back. So
Yes.
been watching that
Yes.
insanity. Finally, I'm glad that delay is over with.
Yep.
Um, and then are you caught up on that? You caught up on
On New York, I think I just watched
either?
the first episode back. Oh, is Beverly Hills back too now this
Yeah,
week?
yeah,
Oh,
last.
okay. No, I'm not caught up then.
Okay.
I've only watched the Halloween episode of New York, which
Okay.
I mean, clearly the break. There was obviously like a longer break than usual, I think.
Yep.
Um, And clearly the break is due to COVID because like I noticed that they were doing their personal interviews on their own,
Yeah.
like with
Yep.
their own
Mhm.
setups and kind of their own cameras and, makeup and clothing and stuff like that. So that was actually really interesting to see, how a TV show kind of solves that issue. Obviously they had like the normal footage, the main footage of their
Yeah.
interactions already filmed, and then we're just like doing some, you know, their asides and whatever. So
Yep. Mhm.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
interesting. Some are
Well,
clearly better at it than others.
I'm glad that they clearly sent them equipment though. I think that was
Yeah,
probably part of the delay because if you watch like what happens live, that's seems more, maybe they won't be now, but it seems more like um they're sitting there in their living room with their laptop
for
and
sure.
and like you say, there are different degrees of professionalism in the setup, but in these like confessionals or whatever kind of
Yeah,
thing, you can tell they've like brought in some lights and stuff, so I
right.
appreciate that that's been considered anyways.
Yeah. It's definitely a step up, and it sort of made me actually wonder, um, we were talking a couple weeks ago about, the first full movie filmed, while
Hmm.
COVID-19 is happening. And it kind of makes me wonder if this is what the camera work is going to look like, you know, because
Hmm.
it's each of the cast members were sent, production equipment, high quality level cameras and, like audio microphones and everything like that. But it's just not quite the same, obviously. So this
Yep.
kind of made me wonder if this was kind of like, the quality level we should expect from that
Right.
kind of film.
Yeah, I don't
Es-
know.
Especially with
Yeah.
people, I think, who there were clearly housewives who um had better grasps maybe on what their makeup was going to look like in the
Sure.
confessional, or what their outfit
Yep.
was going to look like. I don't know. There were just some questionable choices, I thought.
Yeah, I saw Dorinda in
Yeah.
one thing that's like,
Ooh,
wow,
it's a
that
lot.
is not. Yeah, that was not good. And then
Yep.
Leanne has like two pictures of herself right next to her. One big full spread right there. It's like, of course you would. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
But
sure they get a lot more leeway obviously when they're doing their own filming to just like pick whatever they want to put around
yeah,
there themselves, but
I
man,
didn't check Twitter if anyone mentioned that, but I'm sure it had to be brought up. So,
absolutely. So,
and then I finished BNA, or both Ashley
you
and I finished watching
finished.
that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So it's not
quick.
all that long. It must have been 12 episodes, maybe
Okay.
something like that. And surprisingly, it seems like there's it seems like there's going to be a season 2.
Okay.
Usually with stuff from Trigger, it seems one and done.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering if that, I could be completely wrong on this. I was going to look this up. I didn't yet. That it seems like usually Trigger's stuff is their own,
Mm-hmm.
whereas a lot of anime is based on a manga.
Sure.
So this one is maybe based on a manga, and
Mm-hmm.
they can keep going with it. But
Right.
I'm not certain. It strikes me as odd. It's one thing I've always liked about Trigger is how, Kill la Kill is one season and they don't drag it out. And same
Mm-hmm.
with Gurren Lagann, and
Yeah.
I like that. So
Yeah, they make very complete stories.
Mhm.
I think there's certain anime that is one season and you're left wanting, or
Yep.
there's some sort of like not quite a cliffhanger, but just things not yet resolved enough to
Yep.
bug you. So yeah,
So this seems like it's made and designed for a season 2, but we both
great,
liked it a lot. So
good. I just started, so
uh,
I'm excited that you burned through
oh,
it so
nice,
quick. That
cool,
speaks
yeah,
highly of it.
yeah. Um, let's see. Okay, so what are you drinking? I am not going by any of the days again.
I surprisingly am not today. I wasn't feeling it. Today is Pina Colada Day, which, as I've said before, is way too sweet for me. Tomorrow is both World Rum Day and fittingly Mojito Day. But since
Yeah.
I'm not like much of a rum drinker, I have none of that in my house. But what I do have is vodka lemonade, the drink of
Oh,
summertime. So that's what I
sounds
got.
good.
hmm
Are
What
you
about
sure
you?
it's not? Sure, it's not vodka soda. It's
Nah,
like housewives drink.
I feel like
It's
lemonade is like the drink of summer. So,
yeah, that's a good choice. I just have a beer. I haven't had a beer in quite a while, actually.
hmm
It's Blood of the Unicorn. I think maybe I had one of those on here before,
uh-huh.
but it's from Chicago, and it's good. Refreshing.
Awesome. I feel like we're both feeling summertime
Yeah.
sipping right now.
I mean, a mojito would have been perfect, but I
hmm
don't have mint. So,
Yeah, me neither.
if I had Shane Abilene herb garden, then maybe you guys
hmm
had an herb garden before.
We
You don't have one
did.
anymore?
Yeah, we don't anymore. It was really funny. We planted several different herbs, and for some reason, our basil just like took off and like took over the whole garden. It was just like
Ah,
basil as far as you could see.
sure.
And we ran out of things to do with it. So,
No, no,
um,
no. It's like Cowie Bebop. They want they run into like just a pile of mushrooms. So it's like stir fried shiitake and like shiitake on ice, and then
but
or their
like
thing is
you could eat mushrooms solo or like as like a
yeah.
side. Like you couldn't just like eat some basil. Like I couldn't like
I don't
stir
know.
fry up some basil.
Jet's special in Bebop is bell peppers and beef. And then
Yeah,
Jet gets or
good.
Spike gets it and he says, hey, where's the beef? I thought,
Mm.
it's like, yeah, well, it's bell peppers and beef without the beef. So you just have to deal with it. But yeah, I don't know. You guys could just eat basil. You'd be
Yeah.
real fragrant.
Yes, exactly. Would smell lovely.
Yeah. Um, so we don't have a specific topic this week, though there are some categories that kind of formed. Got a lot of video game things
Yes.
on the docket. A lot of the gaming sites are sort of wrapping up their game coverage, but there's definitely more to come.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said before how I seem to mention Xbox a lot, talk about Xbox. We both have, it's the console you have, so
Yep.
makes sense. And I think Game Pass is a good service, and they're the underdog. So in this
Yes.
situation, it's funny to think of. You shouldn't think of Microsoft as an underdog in any way. They're one of the 3 biggest companies in the world, but in the gaming space,
Yes.
particularly in the console space, they are an underdog. So But this week is heavy on the Nintendo and particularly PlayStation news.
Mm-hmm.
So this morning was a Nintendo Treehouse event that I couldn't be less excited for.
Really? Paper
Yeah.
Mario isn't grabbing you?
No, I mean, I had a middle school and high school friend that loved Paper Mario.
Okay.
But for me, turn-based has never really been my thing. And if I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to like turn-based, man, it's got to have something to pull me in, something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not. I watched the event, and it
Yeah,
looks
same.
cute. The art style's fun, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But the other like little dagger was before it started, there was talk that there was going to be a new game announcement from the company Way Forward, and the
Okay.
the conjecture was that it would be a new Shantae game, which Ashley loves. I think they're a lot of fun, but it was not a Shantae game. It was like Bakuman or something
Oh
like that.
yeah, yeah, I saw that.
And the people in the comments weren't happy, and I was bored, and so
Yeah.
it's been other than Animal Crossing, it's been a kind of depressing year for Nintendo from my perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think if you're not excited for Animal Crossing or Paper Mario, you're kind of losing out if you're a Nintendo fan right now. Um, I do want to say though, a point in that event's favor was the extensive amount of gameplay, like real-time gameplay that you got to
Sure.
see.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of nice, their event wasn't as produced, I thought, as some of like the PlayStation and Xbox events have been. I mean, it was just a little bit more casual. Like obviously, you know, there wasn't any like terribly fancy camera work. It was just like a Zoom meeting kind of
Yeah.
style. Um,
Yep.
which I kind of appreciated the, low key nature of the event. That being said, do I wish there was more content in the sense of, like, more widely ranging content instead of just being like, "Hey, we're live. Let's play some Paper Mario. Let's make a small announcement." I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I wish there would have
Yeah.
been more to
The-
to learn from this event.
They set the expectation appropriately and said this is
Mhm.
going to be a gameplay demonstration of Paper Mario.
And it was
So
a lot of
that's what it
gameplay.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm Um, and that's fine. I think everyone has learned their lesson in this space. Really work
Yeah,
on
really really
setting the
Xbox set that.
expectation right.
Yeah, Xbox really set that or demonstrated that when they
Mhm.
obviously did not meet the expectations for gameplay. I think everybody's
Yeah.
learned from that disaster.
So yeah, that was that. And then I was gonna ask you, because you're still in it,
Yeah.
about Pokemon Go, just because I haven't heard from it in a
Yeah.
while. And I know Niantic and a lot of other companies are always looking for that next Pokemon Go that's going to blow up and become a cultural thing.
Sure.
Um, but is it still a happening place?
Yeah,
Still
it's definitely
involved?
still kicking. Um, like I was telling you kind of pre-show, there have been several things that Niantic has rolled out this year, kind of celebrating 4 years of Pokemon, which I can't even right now. Um,
4 years of
but
Pokemon Go?
yeah. Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
not Pokemon, Pokemon Go. I should be more specific. Obviously, Pokemon have been around a lot longer than that. Um, but so now you can do like battles with friends, which you've been able to do for a little bit, but they've got like a more streamlined system being released now. You get better rewards. They've been doing for a while different things like releasing, shadow versions of Pokemon that are like dark and mysterious. Then you can purify them and they get like better CPs. And then their big thing this year that they've just released actually this week is the fact that you can finally battle Team Rocket. They
Nice.
show up in the game. They will hover over your head in a Meowth balloon, and you click on the Meowth balloon, and then you get to battle both Jesse and James. with
Yeah,
some
so
of their
that's the big
signature
deal, right?
Pokemon. Yes.
Is the
That's the biggest thing for
Jesse and James
sure.
part, because Team Rocket, they were responsible for the shadow things, right? The-
Yes.
So you would fight them there, but it was
Yes.
always those other henchmen that are nameless and didn't matter.
Yeah, so they've really, I think, done a good job of like ramping up Team Rocket because you first
Hmm.
had like the nameless, faceless henchmen. Then they evolved into you would do these like three bosses, Arlo, Cliff, and Sierra. And
Oh, okay.
if you beat all of them, then you got to battle the boss, Giovanni.
Mm,
But we still weren't getting like classic Jesse and James.
yeah.
So now they
I mean, they're
finally.
the real ones to be feared.
Exactly, exactly, and it's so cute. So I've only done it twice now because you have to wait for the Meowth balloon to be over you. Um, so yeah,
Okay.
so it comes at like random times, you never know, and you see this like circular shadow overhead, and you zoom out, and then there's the Meowth balloon, and then they do their famous Team Rocket, mantra. They've got
Yeah.
to protect the
Yeah.
world from devastation. So it's a lot of fun.
That's great. Yeah, I'm excited. I didn't think about that, but like I said, I'm going to be going uh to the lake soon, and that's
Hmm.
so I suppose that was 4 years ago then when the game launched. I was there, and so
Hmm.
we're gonna tap back into it for a little bit to see what
Nice.
it's all changed and stuff, because it hasn't been all that long, but it's been a few months.
For
So
sure. Yeah.
um
Look out for
what's
your
your
your Meowth balloon.
yeah, that'd be exciting. I when we first yeah, I was like we were talking before the show. I was so excited when the game first came out and every
Hmm.
little new Pokemon and stuff. So,
Yes.
um, what's your oldest Pokemon? Do you have your
Oh
phone near you? You
gosh,
can
I
tell me what your
do.
oldest one, because
I
someone
will.
was doing that the other day on Twitter, like, beat me. I've got, this old
Yeah, the problem
Pokemon.
is like I think I may have traded my oldest Pokemon, but we'll
I know.
see.
See, you gotta.
I know, because like when the game first came out, it was all about getting higher CPs, and it was just like, well, I gotta, keep getting better and better. Um, I have a Machamp from August of 2016.
The
That is
Champ,
my
August 2016. Okay,
Yep,
that's
here. We got my
I'm
little oops.
darn it. Is let's
There we go.
see.
Yep, Machamp right there. He's a 91 IV.
That's oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah. And then I've
It's
got,
like a
I
little
think, a Blastoise also from August. And those are my only two from 2016. So
I'm
I think I chose Squirtle maybe as my first Pokemon. And you get to
I
Professor Oak and you get to
yeah,
choose like one of the three. And then, of course, later everybody learned that if you wait around and don't choose the three, you get to choose a Pikachu.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, we all like learned that later on. We were like, oh man, why didn't you tell us
Oh my
this?
God. There's
Do you have a
Pokemon
Pokemon from the first day?
here. No, I
Oh.
don't. I doubt it. I doubt it. Just so I live out in the middle of nowhere, and there's So part of the reason that Ashley and I had started playing Harry Potter and kind of stuck with them more is we could play it from home yet. We
Right,
didn't have to fall behind. We could keep doing things from home. And
right.
Pokemon was just never the case. Well, now there's a whole bunch of stuff right here.
Yeah,
So,
they've upped their game a lot in terms of, I think Harry Potter did it better in terms of allowing you to play from home. But Pokemon has really grown a lot in terms of like creating more spawns, letting you access, Pokestops from further away. You can now buy remote raid passes so that you can raid remotely. Um, just the same way in Harry Potter you can remote into, the battle chambers and stuff like that. So,
yep. So, what was your earliest Pokemon?
let me go back to him. I'm sorting him by
I'm kind of
recent.
surprised by mine.
Oh, you're surprised by yours?
Yeah.
Um, it is Machamp right there.
The champ, 2016. Is that
Oh, wait.
8? I
0809.
can't see the date.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
got you
0809.
beat. I've got you
Ooh,
beat.
what do you
You may
got?
be ahead of me, but so I've got a Hitmonchan. He's only a 79. It's gonna be too bright or funny in there. But he
It's all right,
is
I can make it out.
from July 9th, 2016.
Nice.
So that's gotta be pretty
That's like the
early.
day? Did they launch July 1st or when did they launch? I know they launched
I,
July.
right, exactly. That's when we always go to the lake. So I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Um,
That would be cool
I've
if that
got
was like
one,
the very first day.
and I've got a Tang Growth 96 IV from the
Okay.
next day, July 10th.
Okay. So
So,
today, 4 years ago.
oh man, oh, getting emotional over Tang Growth here. Oh. Anyways, yeah, okay, that sounds great. I just want a little update. It's been a while, and
For sure. I mean, Chris
so
is definitely still more active in Pokemon Go. He's got like all the raid groups set up and he just like reaches out and they all like get together. Um
mm.
it's obviously easy to do raids and things from the car so you can still social distance and stuff like that. So
July 6th, Alan says, is when it came
July
out,
6th.
2016.
Okay.
So I am like 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days off
Whatever.
from opening.
Ah, shoot. I should have
That's
kept
pretty
that
cool.
first Rattata.
Yeah,
Darn.
I now wish I would have kept it for like sentimental value, but of course when you start out you're just like, "Oh, I get a better CP. I get a better one." Yeah.
Well, and what was really interesting about this game to start was there were no instructions. There was
Right,
not really a
yes.
walkthrough or anything. So everybody was learning this stuff as it went. Like
Mhm.
the circle that if your aim assist basically or your circle, no one knew what that meant,
Yes.
or like curving the ball or not. And then it took a while for IVs to become a thing and for them to
Yeah.
find a system. So at the beginning we were trading so many things that we had
Yeah.
no idea. And I definitely didn't think of using a like a lucky egg for its
Yes.
early
For a
stages when you
long
don't
time,
have
yeah.
anything. Yeah,
Mhm.
we went through a lot of stuff where you're evolving Pokemon left and right and doing all this stuff, and then
Exactly.
later, like, oh my God, with new Pokemon, I could be doing this with a lucky egg. I would have
Right.
progressed so
Double my
quickly.
XP, yeah.
Yeah. So, but learning process.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I think back now on like some of the early stuff that they introduced. Like, do you remember like the feet where you'd get like 3 feet if it was like super
Yes.
far away and then it was like 2
Yes.
feet and then like 1 foot and it was
It's
like,
like,
"Oh, it's right here."
yeah. I'd be
Oh,
going like, what the hell?
right.
It says one. Is what's going on? And
Right,
you
but there'd be
walk and else
like
back to three.
right, because like you would have no idea what direction you were supposed to go. It was
Yeah.
just like somewhere near you. But if you guessed wrong, then you were just like, "Ah, I'm back to 2 feet. God damn it."
It was a fascinating and frustrating thing because the game
Yeah.
was so buggy to start as well.
Yes.
It
Oof.
just was very buggy.
Yep.
Uh, but they powered through it. I mean,
Mhm.
it's they didn't give up on it and it worked out.
That's
So,
right.
all right, that's Nintendo and Pokemon Go Corner.
Mhm.
Then for the other platform of the day, PlayStation.
Mhm.
Lots
That's
of
right.
stuff going on here with PlayStation. So I kind of posed the question, or PlayStation has done exceptionally well this generation,
Mhm.
and PlayStation's history really in their success, they've won every console generation for home
Mhm.
console. They've won every one. Um, in terms of sales. Their success, I would say, is largely contributed to having great exclusive games on their
Mhm.
systems, which makes perfect sense. If you look at how things have always been, if you're going to pick up your parent a toy store and you're going to pick a box for your kid, you want to get the one that has the most unique games for it. And
Mhm.
then as you get older and you're informed, you of course you still want that.
Right.
So um, but we're going through this sort of transition, it feels like, where everyone's starting to become aware that hardware sales isn't like the ultimate future. We're
Mhm.
still going to need hardware, and there will be a market for that. But ultimately, you are nothing if you don't have, the important product is your IP, your
Mhm.
intellectual property, your stories that you own, and then what
Mhm.
you do with them. So you see Sony taking their properties now and making television shows
Right.
and moving them to PC, getting, so they don't have the console exclusivity. And
Mhm.
so it's something you see a lot more and more and more now is the terminology console exclusive when a game is announced for PlayStation, meaning that
Right.
it's home console is going to be available on is only PlayStation, but it will
Mhm.
come to PC or maybe iOS or whatever another time.
Right.
So I guess my question is, do you think that this is, is this a good move? Will Sony lose business by doing this, or ultimately is this the best choice? Do you see? We always say exclusives don't matter anymore, but then look at what happened to Xbox. They don't have any exclusives, and then
True.
they tanked. So
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's not the only reason I think that Xbox tanked. It's a large contributor, but I think they've also had actual problems with their consoles. You know what I mean? That have just unfortunately contributed. And I think like PlayStation has just such a better rep like for being a console.
mhm.
So, I think that's a point in its favor. I honestly, I think in the short term this move makes sense. I mean, people are looking, I think, right now for gaming content on like a PC, and I think PC gaming is really taking off in this sort of like stay-at-home culture. But I do have to wonder, like when we're all able to go out and lead our lives and, PC gaming takes like a natural hit, is that going to be like a big industry blow, or is it just gonna sort of absorb that and people now like their PC games, so this is a smart move?
Mhm.
Time will
Yeah,
tell, but I think it makes sense in the short run.
I think I think that they don't. I don't think I don't think they're worried about losing console sales
Mhm.
to. I think they're seeing it as, hey, we have an opportunity to get some more game sales. That's
Yeah,
it. Because
I think the game sales are
firstly,
more valuable.
right. Yep. I mean, you sell how many copies of a game per one console or whatever,
Mhm.
and I think that the markets are pretty different. Often people think of an idea of gamer, and that's like all inclusive somehow. Well, 50% of the market is mobile gaming.
Mhm.
And the other 50% is made up between, split up between PC and home console, and not always do all those groups mix.
Right.
If you're a PC gamer, doesn't mean that you're also a heavy console gamer. If you're a mobile
Absolutely.
gamer, doesn't mean you're also a PC gamer. Like
Mhm.
it can be the case, but um, so I went through because this ties into our next
Mm.
story too,
Yeah, absolutely.
because Sony's been cozying up with Epic Games. And
Mhm.
so the Epic Games launcher on the PC has made a big splash. They give away free games every couple weeks, new ones
Mhm.
for no subscription fee or anything like that. And there's been a bevy of games that were originally PlayStation exclusive showing up on PC now
Mhm.
through via the Epic Game Store.
Mhm.
And I just thought it was interesting. I was like, I wonder if this is going to form this way. I went through the entire collection on the Epic Game Store. Now it's not that large, and I
Sure.
looked at the games I knew were placed formerly PlayStation exclusive. And so we've got Heavy Rain, Journey,
Mhm.
Beyond Two Souls, Horizon Zero Dawn, Detroit Become Human, Tetris Effect, and Death Stranding in that
Mhm.
order. And what you'll notice is they keep getting released on PC in a
Yeah.
shorter time frame. So the
Yeah.
first one, Heavy Rain, that came out in 2010, it's been 9 years since that game first came out. That's
Mhm.
now moved to PC. And as you move down the list, it's 7 years, then 6 years, 3.5 years, one and a half
Mhm.
years, and then the last two were
8
8
months.
months. So it's shortening. the time. But I think
Yeah.
they're going to find that right time. It goes back to that story I talked before with Game Pass, where publishers, developers were finding success with it because the bulk of game sales happen in a very short period of time.
Hmm.
You get maybe your 2-week launch window, then you get a little bit of time where you can release a bestseller like in 6 months, and then it's kind of done. So
Yep.
now you can open it up to any other revenue streams and get anything else possible out of it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like a strategy, and it seems like it's working. And we're talking of Epic Games, Sony just invested $250 million
That's right. I
in the
saw that.
company to become which sounds like a lot, but it's a 1.4% share, I guess. I'm guessing there was a calculation to make it enough where they are on the board,
Yeah,
if I
I
had to
imagine.
guess. Because I think they want to be able to help steer where that company goes, is my
Hmm.
guess, and
Hmm.
have a partner in this another lane of distribution. So, and like that ties into my next story. Sorry, I'm like going on a lot, but open it up for like discussion here in a second. I just like it's a
No, it's
lot
good.
that's all connected. So
Exactly. It's a web here.
yeah. So Tencent, giant Chinese company. They'll say they're not from
Hmm.
China. They're from the Cayman Islands, but they're Chinese. And it's they have their fingers in everything.
Hmm.
Hollywood and gaming, they're involved. And they own, I think, 40% of Epic Games. And so to me, this almost also seems like a thing where Sony doesn't want to let Tencent run too much.
Sure.
So they want to be involved in Epic Games because right now Tencent and Sony are also in a bidding war to buy the company that makes the game Warframe.
Hmm.
So,
I saw that.
yeah, the latest thing
Layu.
I think,
I, I,
yeah,
I, I, my best guess at pronouncing
yep,
it.
yep. So it's a lot of like intricate stuff, and to me, it screams Sony is they're setting up a play for the future here.
Yeah.
Or like they're buying studios, buying games, they're acquiring stuff, they're putting money into indies, they're putting money into their first party lineup,
Hmm.
knowing that so they're set for the future no matter where people go platform wise, that
Hmm.
their intellectual property is there and available. And
Sure.
I think it's a smart move that Microsoft started out of necessity,
Hmm.
um, because they weren't selling home console boxes. And
Right.
I think Sony is becoming very aware of this as well. And I think it'll just be Nintendo that will be the lackey, the one falling behind and not up with the times. So
Well, based on this year, I would agree with you. I mean, they might get their act together in another year. Who knows?
well, they're always, they make such fun games and consistent games and quality that people let them slide. They're beloved characters, but their online platform, their multiplayer stuff, that's all garbage. It's terrible. It's just so far behind what they should be in 2020. Um, so they're ahead in some ways, and they're definitely far behind on others.
For sure.
So that's my little like kind of rant or tirade of like things here connected with moves Sony's making. Do you have any thoughts on all that stuff?
um, I mean, honestly, my biggest thought is Sony's making smart moves. I mean, as a company, like they're not just resting on, listen, we've got the new PS5 coming out. It's also like we're diversifying, we're investing, we're making moves to control, not only console but like gaming.
Mm,
And I mean, all of these moves, while maybe causing some grumbles like you were talking about with, um people who are devoted to consoles, like losing their exclusives, like having a little bit of
yep.
grumbling about that. I still think that they're small hurdles and things that Sony can overcome. I think especially people are mollified by things like, hey, we're going to release a game exclusively for console at the beginning, and then we'll offer it. I mean, if you're a console gamer, you probably don't keep track of how soon after. It's like, oh yeah,
Mm,
like I'll get it first, and they'll get it like years later. and maybe they do release it like 8 months later, and it's like, ah. But I mean, if
Yep.
you're a console gamer, are you really paying attention to that anyway? So
Right.
yeah, so I think all of these are really smart moves, especially in the short term. Are they going to pan out? Who knows?
Mhm.
But I mean, way to not just like, feel accomplished. Way to,
Yep.
think to the future.
Yep. No, that's true because I mean, it's been a staple in the gaming world to whoever feels like they're kind of winning a generation to sit back and not,
Exactly.
push forward. And yeah, hopefully they're not doing that this time because uh, that's what happened with the PlayStation 3. It had such a slow start, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Xbox 360, despite its like debilitating hardware problems, um, kind of dominated that generation, but PlayStation 3 eventually caught up and overtook it in the end anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So then they could go into the PS4 strong, but they came in with PS3 with a whimper. So
Right.
hopefully they're not yeah, no, that's good. I hope that's the case. And like like before we said the making all the television shows and stuff now. Uh
Mm-hmm.
that's another getting your getting your IP out there. Obviously, Sony is in the movie business, so they're looking for more stuff there to deal with.
Right.
But
Again, diversifying, and I think it's diversifying in smart things because they've
yep,
got hot property. I mean, they're obviously, developing things like with Spider-Man, which is huge right
yep,
now. So, I
hmm
mean, go out and capitalize on what's huge right now and then use that, like I think popularity to expand out and kind of like flex your muscle. Like you were saying, how they're like, you know, investing in Epic Games just so that, other companies wouldn't have so much control. Like, yeah, go
yep,
out and flex your muscle a little bit and have your say.
yep. And then the other one other like PlayStation, like directly PlayStation news thing is just that today it was a complete shock to me. One of my favorite games ever, like number one or number two, Horizon Zero Dawn. They just announced a bunch of
Yeah.
merchandise stuff. So some of it was already known. The comic books were kind of known, but some of it's up for pre-order now. Um, so I've had that stuff on my calendar for a while. And
Absolutely.
then the board game, I want a lot, but if you want to go buy like the founders pack or whatever, it's $360, I believe, because
Holy.
it's like the
What do
game
you get
plus
in the
11
founder's pack?
expansions. Well, it comes
Okay.
with a lot of
Okay.
big like figures,
Uh-huh.
miniatures or whatever, but they're big ones and stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of different expansions and stuff. So yeah, Alan brings up the Horizon coming to PC. That was one of them. I listed in the PlayStation games coming to PC because it
Right.
leaked a while ago about that coming to PC, and yeah, that's happening soon now. Um,
This comic
so I hope
series looks pretty boss. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I hope it's
I'm
good.
just scrolling through. I mean, yeah, obviously I can hardly
Yeah,
tell anything about the story, but looks pretty
yep.
fun.
But if you click where you can get that game, and you'll
Yeah.
see the guy standing there with the boxes. That's not like copies of the same thing. That's all the things you get.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
There's, like I said, 11 expansions. It's
All right.
nuts.
Well, I mean, at
So, but
least you're not like totally being taken for a ride, but yeah, that's
yep,
still quite a bit. I mean,
yep,
that's some serious thinking money.
yep. So, well, and then the other things which I immediately bought, there is a like a re-release of the Horizon Zero Dawn soundtrack on
Mhm.
vinyl. So I got that on
Okay.
pre-order. And then there's a really good shop. They should sponsor us. Insert coin .com,
Mhm.
and they do gaming merchandise in terms of like clothing, apparel, and stuff. And they have new Horizon Zero Dawn things, and so I bought the beanie hat that they have.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
they have a jacket, a hat, and a shirt. And
Yep,
I don't
I saw
understand what's
that.
on the shirt. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't really get it. It
Mhm.
honestly looks kind of like a child's drawing.
Yeah, I don't know if that's from the new game or if I'm missing something from the first, just not making a connection. I don't know, but
Sure. Well, or it could be something, abstract and they explain it and you're like, "Oh, right, okay."
yep, yep. And they released the track, the song written for the new game on Spotify and
Yes.
Apple Music and all that stuff. So it was just a drop of great news for me, something fun. Um,
As you wait.
to spend my money. Yeah, yeah. As I wait till like next year or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's about the PlayStation news.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit, right? I mean,
I think so.
no, yeah, really got some PlayStation covered in there.
Yeah, they can't come back to us complaining about fairness anymore, which, I mean, obviously
Right.
we're in contact, so they do.
Yeah. Of course. Yep. And back to Mark Cerny. Like, we're gonna get on his good side again.
That's right. That's right. With this one podcast, heal
Yeah.
all wounds.
So then there's a Ubisoft Forward event coming, I think Sunday.
Yes, this weekend.
Yeah. Have you seen any stuff about that? Or I guess you like Assassin's Creed stuff, so that's
Yes. I've just seen obviously the announcements, so unfortunately nothing more than that so far.
Are you
But
excited about the actor that's going to be in Far Cry?
what? I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, Far Cry 6 leaked, and then it seemed like they went ahead and they released a little preview trailer, a little
Okay.
tease. I forget the guy's name, but he's in Mandalorian, and he's also in
Oh, here I'm watching
Breaking
it now.
Bad.
Yeah. Oh, he means serious business, doesn't he?
Yep. I mean,
Love it.
he's got a cigar. Like, back to the cliche I was talking. Oh, he's got a cigar. Clearly he's a bad guy. So
Very true. He's got serious face on, so
yeah.
he's either about to go clean up a mess or wreak some havoc.
Yep. So yeah, I'm excited to watch that. I hope it's a good time.
Same. I feel like, even though it's been Summer Game Fest, it was really heavily focused on June. And I'm feeling like, I mean, I know we're not terribly far into July, but I just also feel like things that are upcoming for July have been slower announced, farther apart, just everything's kind of dropped off a little bit in July. So I'm excited that there's still stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, Alan writes in the comments, Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Thank you.
Yep, that's him. So
I'm not pretending. Cool. I definitely know that name. So, sometimes you're like, totally, yeah. And then it's like, no, not really. But no, I actually know his name.
Far Cry 5 was like, I don't know. Ubisoft just has to be careful. They're just on one of those things where they release games so frequently from a franchise. You got to give people time to miss something.
Yes.
And they just like pump out Far Cry games. They pump out Assassin's Creed games.
Yes.
So like
to their detriment for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
because they're
gonna do it because they make money on it, but you ultimately burn people out. And
you do. You do. I mean, it's the same thing we see with like reboots in movies. Like people just like don't care if you do it within like 2-3 years. Like they hate it. They're like, oh my God, I just saw that. Even if it was terrible, it could be like the worst movie ever. Like, not to harp on it too much, but like Spider-Man 3 was so awful. Mm-hmm. And yet when they were like rebooting Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, everybody was like, what? Too soon.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Right. You're not like, oh, thank goodness. I mean, that last one was trash. This time, it's like, come on now.
Well, and then you get like half-finished projects, like 2 Andrew Garfield movies. There was supposed to be a third to round out a trilogy. Nothing ever happened with that. It just like ghosted out of existence. And then we rebooted with Tom Holland, which was excellently received, especially after we saw him in Avengers. Mm-hmm. But could have been even better, I think, if people were genuinely excited about a new Spider-Man.
Yes. They had a lot to live up to there. And fortunately, they lived up to it. And like
Right.
you say, I
Yeah.
think that appearance in Avengers really helped, or I guess
Exactly.
in Captain America.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I think that sold people. But yeah, you're setting the bar a lot higher for yourself.
Hmm.
You got people that already aren't super amped for it. So
Right. Well, and to bring it into the gaming, you know, I mean, Assassin's Creed, like you have a run in the middle here. Like the first couple Assassin's Creeds, like people remember. They were new, they were fun, they were interesting. And then you started getting into like, oh, we have Black Flag, we have Revelations, we have Brotherhood, we have Unity, like which
mhm.
even is which one? Like I always remember a couple of those as like there's one in there that everybody hates. Which one is that one? Because I can't
Mm,
even keep track of them anymore. At that
yeah,
point, there's too many stories, too much, too quick. You've oversaturated the market and they're not special games anymore.
yep. That's I don't know. It's nothing you can do about it. All
Yeah.
that ends up happening, it's gonna be a cycle. Like say, is people get burnt out on it. They're rushing and they release a game that's not as good, and
Mhm.
then the studio's like, okay, well, we're forced now to like take a moment, take a
Yep.
breath, and then do one. Well, it'd be nice if you didn't have to have that forced upon you. Basically,
Right.
you could
Like can
decide that yourself, and yeah,
right. Yeah, can you be mature enough to remember that? Yeah. We
yeah,
don't need like the gamers babysitting you to let you know when you've gone too
mhm,
far. Like keep yourself in check.
yep. And Ubisoft games could use some polish sometimes. I've been,
Mhm.
I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins some, watching Ashley play Odyssey, and
Yeah,
they're great games, but they're not flawless.
definitely.
Um, there's definitely things that come to me as like, oh, this feels like a Ubisoft thing now. Kind
Mhm.
of like BioWare has their bugs and stuff. I don't know. I'm used to Naughty Dog games, and they're perfect. There's nothing wrong with them. I mean, I can't speak for the Last of Us games, but all the Uncharted games, man, they're pretty good. So,
No bias
so
there
when
though,
I,
so it's okay.
so when I get into like janky Assassin's Creed, I'm like, what is this? What is
Yeah.
this? So, yeah, but well, hopefully Valhalla's good. Hopefully we see some cool Valhalla
Yes.
stuff at this Ubisoft event.
Some actual
And
gameplay would be nice if I'm just like putting my
yeah,
wish
well,
list out in the world. Psst, psst,
it's gonna
Ubisoft.
be. It's gonna be because that was the other thing earlier this week that gameplay leaked for Valhalla, and I think
Mhm.
it was a boss battle, and then they, went all over the internet trying to take it down and some of
Right.
that. But I'm sure that's what they'll show at
I
the
hope
event.
it's yeah, I hope it's a little bit more than that. But yes, I'm excited to see actual gameplay for sure.
Yeah. Um. Other than that, we're going to be winding down the summer pretty soon in terms of gaming
I
stuff. We have
know.
this Ubisoft event, and then we're going to have a Xbox event.
Mhm.
The rumors were right, for end of July here,
Yep.
and then we're just kind of waiting on everyone to release console prices,
Yeah.
and that's about what we got.
Man, when you
Um,
say it like that, it just seems like the summer is already over.
yeah, well, I
I
mean,
mean,
the way it, yeah, mhm,
it's
yeah,
crazy. I mean, we're mid-July, we're like midway through summer, but also like, what?
yeah. Yeah, because we should get this Ubisoft event this Sunday. Then I think it's on the 23rd is the Xbox event that should be, which is the most important event they've ever done. And their next console generation hinges upon that being incredible, where
Mhm.
they show off gameplay of Halo Infinite and then whatever other uh, first party titles they're working on. And it
Yep.
better be high production value, and it better be like, amazing cinematics that blow us away, and then a little bit of gameplay and stuff that's not out, some release dates and whatever.
Mhm.
And then we should have August a announcement for a second Xbox, the Xbox Series S.
Right.
That's what's expected, along with pricing. And then I would assume Sony will follow up. I'm gonna guess that Microsoft's gonna announce pricing first, and then Sony will
You
follow up.
think?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Microsoft has a schedule they want to keep, and if you push it too far, then I mean, it's people aren't going to be able to pre-order. They're not going to know what the
Yeah.
price is. I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see.
I
don't
just
know.
sometimes see like Xbox doing something crazy and just like jumping out there.
I mean, look, they have the money to do it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil Spencer said that they had flexibility from the top. They're given
That's true.
flexibility here. So they could push it and wait till September for Sony. They like want to start pre-ordering their consoles to announce, and then Microsoft just undercuts them on everything. But I think they're going to undercut them anyways with their less powerful system. So I don't know, but that's that. All right, that's the gaming news.
Yes, quite a
Are you
bit.
a fan of? Yes. Are you a fan of Tron?
Don't hate me because I haven't seen Tron.
None of them? Or
None of
either of
them.
them?
Nope,
Okay.
neither of them. And I
Well,
really should because I love Jeff Bridges. So I feel
yes.
like, and I know everybody has said he's kind of the bright spot in Tron Legacy.
So let me just go to bat for Tron Legacy. That's an awesome movie. Okay.
Okay, what are you talking though? Like on the whole, the visuals, the story, the acting,
um,
like what you got?
well, so the youngified version of Jeff Bridges and stuff could use some work by today's standards.
Sure.
But we've moved a long ways since then.
Absolutely.
There's not much I am not a fan of with that movie.
Really?
It's a proper roller coaster ride all the way through. So you
Okay.
need to watch it in one sitting, and you need
Okay.
to watch it loud and when it's like dark out and stuff, so you can see it well, not like light in the room and like on a little
Right.
TV with
Yeah.
speakers. But so, and because to me it's an experience. It's like watching The Matrix. It's not maybe
Okay.
as philosophical as The Matrix, but it's the neon lights, it's the Daft Punk soundtrack. Like for
Yeah.
that alone, all I need is a music video to the Daft Punk soundtrack, and you've got a winner here. And you kind of have that. Michael Sheen shows up, and
Yes.
it's great. He's
Yeah.
just a lot of fun.
I mean, I was looking at the cast and was more surprised that this didn't do well. Do you know what I mean? Like all the cast, I was just like, "Oh, I
Olivia
love that."
Wilde.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like I love these people. Like what happened with this movie?
Olivia
Sounds
Wilde's amazing.
sounds
She's
like
like
a lot of the
maintain that look all the time.
well, it sounds like a lot of the gripes were with the director and the kind of way that he chose to go rather than stick to like the original storyline that Tron Legacy was going to have.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, coming into this, not knowing that much about it and having an outside perspective, that just sounds like to me reading through some of the complaints, that was like the overall theme.
it definitely must just be a taste thing because
Sure.
both Ashley and I love this movie. We love the
Okay.
vibe of it. We love the sound of it. We love the look of it. And it's oozing cool. And
Yeah, sure.
and then that same director made Oblivion with Tom Cruise, which is also kind of a mildly received movie.
Yep.
And we love that movie too.
Okay.
So again, it's just like a atmospheric visual treat, like can make you think a little bit, and it just puts you in a cool place. Doesn't like It's not full of original ideas. It doesn't rewrite everything, but it's enjoyable. Tom Cruise delivers a solid performance. So I don't know, that director I guess works for me, at least on those two films. So
Sure.
anyways, it's back. Tron 3 is Tron 3 is being started, not in production necessarily, but it sounds like they're talking about it. The ride has been a really big success in China, and they're bringing that to the States, I guess, and they want to continue the Tron property if Daft Punk will sign on again. So we'll see.
So here's my question that I think also leads into a kind of segue into our, back to the DC world, because we found some things that are going on in DC. So once upon a time, Jared Leto was attached to Tron 3.
Yes.
What do you feel about this? Like, yay or nay?
I feel like he fits. He's a weirdo.
Okay.
I mean, I can definitely see a role for him in
I was gonna
this.
say, do you think it's like based on like what they would cast him? Like there were certain things that they might cast him as that you'd be like, oh, I don't know if that's a fit, or if it's just like, no, I want to see him in this movie no matter what.
I mean, I could definitely see him showing up as like a character like Michael Sheen did, where he's not the main character, but
Mm-hmm.
he's an auxiliary character that has a highlighted moment that's a lot of
Sure.
fun in the film. So,
Okay.
or it could be a central antagonist. He could be that too. I don't know.
Well,
So,
I mean that kind of leads me to my next question, in which a movie he played the antagonist, Suicide Squad, obviously
mhm,
was received poorly, and
yeah,
now he is Leto's pushing for the extended Ayers cut of the movie to be
mhm,
released.
yep,
So, I mean, I don't know. Like on the one hand, I'm kind of for it in the sense of like I didn't think his portrayal was that terrible. Did I think it was memorable? No. So if like this Ayers cut is gonna like redeem some of his choices and make more sense as to where he was going with it, sure it should be released. But also like why is DC making so many movies that to truly understand them, you need this like special release cut to be shown? You know what I mean? Like I think about we were just talking about like, oh, we're so excited for like the Snyder cut of Justice League because this is going to make the movie so much better. And like Jared Leto's out here being like, hey, the Ayers cut of Suicide Squad is going to make this movie so much better. Like you shouldn't need that.
no,
The
yeah,
movie should be the movie. And you shouldn't need like a special extended cut to like justify everything.
yeah,
Like this makes me think of, Star Wars, like this latest trilogy and like the books that came out kind of, fleshed out the storylines in the trilogy movies, but it's like you shouldn't need that kind of extra material to make people satisfied with what you've done.
yeah.
Like you make a
Well,
movie, you don't get to make ever like okay, like you don't get to put I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I feel like you shouldn't need so much extra material for your audience to like it. Like you shouldn't be continually revisiting this.
I think a lot of films are made in the editing room. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
you write,
absolutely.
you write it, you write your story, then you write your screenplay based on that story. And I forget what it is, but there's like a rule of thumb for how much how much screen time your like an inch of script is,
Yeah.
and how much it should be kind of. And so when you're writing it, it becomes that sort of measure that you can say, well, this is going to take us 2 days and this is whatever, like this is how much it would be or whatever. But I think a lot of times they just overshoot. They
Yeah.
have more content than they need. And then they get in the editing room and it's like, well, we can't have a 3-hour movie.
Totally.
It's not going to support this. We can't have a 4-hour movie. It's just not going to work. So we got to start cutting. What is our? It's a failure in the writing process. What?
Mhm.
Okay, because now in the editing bay or with the you know with the executives now, which you'd rather not get involved, now have to be like, what's the central focus of this
Mhm.
film? What are the side stories we need to cut out?
Right.
And the truth of the matter is Suicide Squad is called Suicide Squad, not Joker.
Exactly.
So it needed to be about the Suicide Squad. It didn't get to be it. They should have, they again, foresight, they could have planned and they could have done a Joker Harley movie.
Totally.
Joker and Harley would have been it could have been a fun movie.
I
But they wanted to do a
agree.
Suicide Squad movie and they wanted to put Joker in there so they had a name to sell. And then Joker showed up barely at all in the movie. And then
Right.
people and Leto were like, where did all this stuff I shot go? And then
Right.
fans were like, where did the Joker? Well, it's not that movie and we couldn't fit it all in there. But we
Yep.
wanted you to go because you knew the Joker was in it. So
Yeah, I
it's
think
just
again poor planning on DC's part.
mhm,
Because I think if they were so desperate to do a Suicide Squad, because I think the idea of the Suicide Squad is fun. And they had some good casting and like people I would have been interested to see. Like I loved Will
mhm,
Smith's Deadshot. Dug it. But they could have done like a Suicide Squad with just like, hey, we're going to like hint at the Joker and just do this very like pared down role, and then our next movie is going to be like a Joker Harley movie, and then we make like Birds of Prey and have Harley in it, but then it doesn't need to be such like a Harley centric movie, like we were talking
Yep.
about how it was just totally misnamed because it was so focused on her. So you could have like spread out this story in like a very appropriate and well described way where
Yep.
people aren't continually watching these movies and getting let down by, inflated expectations of characters.
Well, and maybe they had to get Leto on board. They had to tell him that he's a big part and shoot all this stuff. Like you're a big role,
Maybe.
you're bored. When it's like it's just for background for Harley.
Right.
It's just for context and to let you understand Harley a little bit. That's it. Doesn't
Right.
take that much. So why'd you shoot all this extra stuff for him? DC has problems. They have real problems.
They
And
do.
I don't with the stories coming up here, I don't see any of this getting better. I think things are going to get worse for him here.
Yeah, do you want to
'cause
talk about some of the things we've
I just want to make a
seen?
prediction. I'm going to predict
Okay.
that the Ayers cut and the Snyder cut both still suck.
Yeah.
That's my guess. Because it's one of those things where Leto's complaining he's not shown in the film, and the movie is not well received. So the best we can do is like, hey, that's not the movie we want to make. We wanted to have this too, and they're going to release it, and it's not going to change anything.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think on the whole, it won't change anything big. Could it change a few minds, or could you watch it and be like, oh, okay, I guess, this choice makes sense? Sure.
Yeah.
Is it going to like totally, revamp this character and like redo your reactions and, like revolutionize the way? No, I don't think so. For either of them. I think there'll be small changes at best.
Yep. Okay, yeah. So the other stuff in the DC world here. So I'm not sure which way to best go into the order of these.
Yeah.
But I guess we can go in the order we got them here. With Batwoman. Batwoman was recast in the TV show. Have you watched Batwoman at all?
I've watched a couple episodes, yeah, and found myself liking it. Actually,
Okay.
I'm planning to finish, the first season. I mean, I am excited / nervous because I hate recasting. I mean, it sounds, of course, like Batwoman's going to be a totally new Batwoman. She's got new name, new identity. So we're not trying to like carry on a character that's recast. So that assuages at least some of my fears about that.
Right.
But I really enjoyed Ruby Rose as Batwoman, as Kate Kane, and I am kind of bummed that she's not back. She, it's a big sort of mystery surrounding her exit. Was she not treated well? Was there some, rift regarding salary, creative issues? Not quite sure. But she at least seems to be very classy about her exit. She's not really talking about it all that much other than to say, I'll miss the character. I had a great time and now excited for Javisha Leslie, excuse me, being cast as Batwoman. So, yeah. And she is, obviously this new Batwoman is marking a milestone. She's going to be the first Black actress to play Batwoman in TV or film.
So, do we know her name of the character?
Ryan Wilder.
Ryan Wilder.
Yes.
Now, is that, maybe Alan knows, is that a previous person that's ever been Batwoman?
Yeah, that is a good question. I haven't looked into that. Let's see if I can quick find it before Alan. It's a race, Alan. It's a race. He's probably definitely going to find it before I do. I'm not seeing that it is.
Who is playing? That's all stuff about the news of this, not
Not, yeah, like her existence previously.
okay. Ryan Wilder, DC. Oh, wow. Okay, it's just already her page up on DC.
Sure.
Um, it must not be then.
Yeah, it seems from what I'm glancing at, it seems new. Like her storyline will be all new. So that could be interesting, I guess, you know,
Yeah,
if this is,
it's
not working for them, just kind of going in a totally new direction and new possibilities for a story, not conforming to something that's already been done. So,
well, I thought it was a mistake to cast Ruby Rose.
mm,
Um, I mean, I think she has a good look, but she's so petite.
mm.
Um, and
She's so
she, to my
wiry though. Like
yeah,
I'm thinking to like her opening scene and she's like underwater and she's, swimming around and she's not got quite a bit of clothing on and she's petite but like you can just like see like the grit, the wire, I think.
mhm.
So, but I get concerns also.
Well, and it's not like that's inaccurate from the comic books. The comic
Hmm.
books, look, I always think it's ridiculous. Batman trained for years and all different martial arts and all this stuff, and then he goes out fighting with a teenager,
Right.
in the form of Robin
Right. Who
or
has like no
Batgirl.
muscle mass whatsoever.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
he's got nothing. Yeah.
It's like Damian Wayne is cool in the comics as a kid that was raised an assassin. That's cool comic book form, but if you want to have something a little more grounded, you still got to not be a child,
Yes.
kind of thing. And the other part is I think that I thought Ruby Rose was injured pretty badly in
Hmm.
John Wick. Was it John Wick she was really hurt in?
Was she injured in John Wick or Triple X?
Hmm. I
I
thought
can't
something it
remember.
was a bad back injury. And to
Yeah.
me, if you're gonna be play a superhero, maybe that's something that comes up in a physical
Right.
or something.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember her being injured. I just couldn't remember which show she got it on. Oh,
and
it was actually Batman.
oh,
Or
okay,
excuse
it
me,
was.
Batwoman. God. Ugh.
So maybe so that maybe that's the deal is she just
Yeah, she was
doesn't want
doing
to
a
put her body
stunt.
on the line anymore, you
Mhm.
know.
Yep, she was doing a
But
stunt, injured her neck, and was nearly paralyzed. So,
yeah,
I
so that'd
mean,
be scary.
yeah, I mean, who knows if, that kind of rendered her unable to go full out, unable to kind of fully
Mhm.
trust, in stunts anymore, and that could be a reason for her leaving.
You
Not
think they
gonna lie,
just put
that's
a
kinda legit.
yeah? You think they would just put a uh stunt double more?
Yeah,
You got the mask and stuff already. It'd be pretty easy to just have way more of it or all of the action stuff done with a stunt double.
yeah,
It's not uncommon.
absolutely.
So yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten into any of the CW shows. I know they're kind
Yeah.
of a it's one of those things to me. Maybe I've said this before. It's like an anime where you sometimes give it some leeway. It's a little corny, a little exposition forward. I don't know. But then if you stick with it, you love the characters and
Mhm.
you like what's going to happen in this
Yes.
soap opera that unfolds. And
Yes.
so that's the impression I get from the CW stuff is like if you do that and you love these characters enough that you stick
Mhm.
with it and you kind of forgive all of its issues, then you enjoy that. Um,
Yeah.
but I've never been willing to do that. So
Yeah, I remember way back in, my teenage years, I started Smallville.
yes, I
They're
was
kind
gonna.
of
Yes.
early,
Hmm.
superhero verse there.
Yep.
And I stuck with it through all of its 10 seasons. It was a little exhausting by the end, but like at that point you're like, well, I'm 10 seasons in. I'm sticking it out.
Hmm.
And then that sort of like left me a little tired. And so
Yeah.
I skipped several shows and now Batwoman is the first kind of superhero movie that I'm watching again or TV show on the CW that I'm watching again. Um
Okay.
so I don't know. I'm not sure that I want to like go into the Arrowverse and like get that deep into everything. It feels
Yeah.
almost like so much now because they're all so interconnected.
Yeah.
which is
It is its own separate
yeah,
universe, which, look, if DC could do two, they have a television universe and a movie universe, I would be fine with that.
yeah.
Like, that's all right, you know? But the problem is eventually they get like, well, we want Green Arrow in the movies. Well, then
Mm-hmm.
you better put the Green Arrow from the TV show in there. We're gonna make a
Yep.
lot of people upset,
Yep.
and then they won't do that. So that's your problem you run into. You
Exactly.
know, if they want Batwoman in the movies, are they gonna cast this new woman as Batwoman? No, they won't. It'll be
Nope.
someone different.
No, yeah, I was going to say they're
Uh,
not going to go to anybody who's considered. It was just going to be somebody
no,
totally new.
I watched a couple episodes of Arrow that
Oh, okay.
had John Constantine in it
Right.
because I like that actor for John Constantine.
Yeah.
It's another thing where when we talk now about the spin-off seasons or spin-off shows
Mm-hmm.
for possible Justice League Dark,
Yes.
J.J. Abrams produced thing. I'm guessing they won't cast the same Constantine. It'll be a new guy.
Probably not.
More fragmentation.
Especially because it's going to be on, a new platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Constantine's kind of bounced around a little bit. What were the two platforms that it was on?
Well, so Constantine, the show was on Fox originally.
And then where did they got
then,
saved and picked up for one more season?
No, nope. They got moved.
Or were they going to?
They got moved to air the episodes on something else.
Okay.
But they never made any new ones.
Oh, I
the
thought
only
they
new thing was him appearing on Arrow.
Right. Right. I remember that.
And then I think he's become a part of that other superhero show that has Rory in it from Doctor Who.
Oh, yep.
It's got also Superman, the other Superman actor in it.
Yep.
What is that called? I haven't watched any of that, but
totally.
I would be tempted to try it. Like Something of Tomorrow or the Future or
yeah. Agents of Tomorrow. No, something. Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about though. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Something of Tomorrow. Agents of Tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know why I'm stuck on Agents
Maybe
of
Tomorrow.
Maybe that's
what it is. But
are the Tomorrow people? Is it the Tomorrow people?
No, it's all right.
Okay. All right. We're gonna figure this out.
I'm too far from my keyboard. I'm too far from my keyboard here to find it. But yeah. But anyways, Justice League Dark is a possible thing coming. It's been talked about for a while. I would love to see it happen, but it should be, again, I want it to be connected. It should be in the same world as Doom Patrol, like we're watching. That fits so well. Wonder Woman is involved with Justice League Dark. It should be Gal Gadot.
Mm-hmm.
It's Dobby. You probably don't hear it, but
nope. Oh, dogs. As we were saying earlier, man's best friend.
Yeah.
Like Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow.
There it is. Nice. Okay. Yep.
Man. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Gal Gadot should be in it if it's gonna, and then I'd be worried that they just wouldn't or whatever. So, but the big new one that just was announced was Gordon series.
Yes.
So all about Commissioner Gordon from Batman.
Yes. I am pumped about that.
Are you though?
I am, because I'm tentatively pumped. Like, I love Commissioner Gordon, but I did not love like the Fox Gotham take on Commissioner, like young Commissioner Gordon. I didn't love it. I think it had good elements and bad elements. I didn't see Ben McKenzie as Commissioner Gordon. I just didn't. And it was like a pervasive problem that kind of just like you can't get past because he's the main character.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't like I had terrible problems with his acting. It was a lot of the look. I mean, some of the acting, but a lot of the look for me wasn't there.
hmm I so the issue with this, I guess for me, is this is supposedly the Jim Gordon set in the universe of the Batman. So the Robert
Okay.
Pattinson film. This is going to be, so that would mean it's
Right.
Jeffrey Wright,
Right.
which Jeffrey Wright is awesome.
Yes, he is.
But is this going to be another example of more fragmentation? So we were
Mm.
talking this last episode or last week about how can we see Robert Pattinson's Batman in with the rest of the Justice League?
Answer
Like,
no.
does that fit? Yeah, answer no. So are we going to have this thing where you have this HBO Max series, Gordon, that's
Mhm.
set in the same universe as the
Mhm.
Batman,
Mhm.
but then you have the Justice League series that is its own separate thing from the
Right.
Batman?
Right.
And then is it going to go on without the Batman or a separate Batman? So we're going to have the Arrowverse on TV. We're going to have the
Mhm.
Justice League DCEU, and then we're going to have, what are they going to call it? What's this director of the Batman?
Right.
I've seen his name a lot, but we're going to have like a universe for him,
Right.
you know? And I don't know what their plan is. I want a plan. I'm really hoping that
Yeah.
this DC fandom brings some clarity to what their plan is. Otherwise, it just seems
Yeah.
like scattershot. Yeah, Matt Reeves. Alan says, yeah, Matt Reeves.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're gonna have the Matt Reeves verse.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that front. Like we're getting too much fragmented DC content. Like it's all related, but it's different, universe
Mhm.
focused. So
Should
that's
we
that's
not
tough. I
care?
agree. Hmm?
Should we not care? Like, is it wrong that we care about that? Is because Marvel
No.
set a precedent that for comic books they can all be connected and under one umbrella on when it comes to the big screen and stuff, and then DC can just,
Sure.
we can have a Joker movie here, we can have a Birds of Prey movie here, we can have a Batman movie here, and we can have a Wonder Woman movie here, and they don't have to connect at all.
Well, I think truly their problem is they tried to have it both ways. They're doing a half and half and it's
Right.
not working. Like
Exactly.
if you had everything separate,
Mhm.
fine. Like everything is separate.
Yep.
If you went out from the get-go and decided that everything was connected, then you need everything to be connected. You can't do like, well,
Yep.
we're connected over here and then like sometimes over here, but now we're in like a flashpoint so we can, reset a little bit and some characters are still connected. No, you can't do
Yep.
this.
Yep.
You can't like have it one way and then sometimes have it the other way. It's again, I think expecting too much from your audience in the sense of like, okay, we need to like provide some context before you see this movie, or like you'll
Mhm.
like this movie better if you understand that like this one is part of this universe, but this one, which you might think is related, actually isn't, and let us explain
Right.
why. You can't set your
Mhm.
movies up that way.
Yep. And with a comic book like mythology like America has, it's really difficult if you're going to be making all of these films. Like if you're making a Wonder Woman movie and the world is about to come to an end in this
Hmm.
movie, anyone that's been around for a little bit is like, so where's Superman to help out?
Right.
Like, I mean,
Well,
because
especially
then you
because
see a,
you rush to get all these characters in a movie together. I mean,
yep,
they barely had films out and they were like, Justice League, like, here we
yep,
are. Like, Wonder Woman's up in, Batman versus Superman. Like, they're together so early.
yep,
Then exactly like how, even Marvel struggled with that sometimes. They would have events happen in their solo movies and they're like, oh, can't you just like call the rest of the Avengers? And they're like, oh, this is, why we can't do that or whatever. And they were always kind of like, I mean, okay, a little awkward to get out
Sure.
of. But like you bought it because it was like such a small thing, and at least they kind of like addressed like, okay, that they're off doing this thing.
Yeah.
They still acknowledge that they were there. DC just like pretends that like these other superheroes don't even exist sometimes.
Right. Sometimes. Yep. Yeah, it's like so there's talks of a Green Lantern spin-off thing or whatever now.
Yeah,
Yes, the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds was not great,
it was
but
not
doesn't
right.
mean you need to give up on him.
Right.
I mean, look at your core elements there. Ryan Reynolds is cool. Green
Right.
Lantern is cool. We'll go from
Write a
there.
better
Don't worry
movie for
about
him.
yeah.
I mean,
It'll be a
truly, like I
sequel and it'll
don't
be a
think that
better
was
one.
his fault. Like
No,
it just was a terrible movie,
no.
and that's not his fault.
Right. So you don't have to pretend it never happened. Just continue on.
Yep.
Continue on. Do better the next time.
Exactly.
People will be okay. They won't if the next Green Lantern movie comes out and the reviews are spectacular, people will go see it and and they won't worry
That's
about the
right.
first one. It's
That's
only if
right.
you bomb again that then people, you
Right.
lose your chance. But yeah, I don't know. We could just have podcasts every week, just talking about how frustrating DC is. So
It's unfortunately not getting any better.
I don't normally like worry that much about it or concern myself with it, but it's just I think now that I'm watching Doom Patrol and seeing how great that is, and then I was excited for Wonder Woman,
Mm-hmm.
and just you start getting your hopes up and you start seeing the
Mm-hmm.
potential, and then you
Mm-hmm.
see the plans and just see them squandering and messing everything up and such a muddled message on everything.
Agreed.
So
Yeah, it's
you know
disappointing to
when
think of
Marvel
what could
did
have
their
been.
yeah, right, when Marvel does their conference and they stand on the stage and they show a timeline
Yes.
of the movies coming out. So, and then on top of one part of it is Disney Plus and one part is theatrical,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all together. And this is the time they're coming out, and they're all connecting. We know that DC needs to do the same thing.
I agree.
Here's our timeline. Here's our roadmap, and these things they're all in the same universe. They all connect with one another. Like they but they won't do that at all. I guarantee it.
I
So,
feel like unfortunately they're just too afraid now that they've messed so much of it up. It's like, do we really go out there and own that, or do we try to like pretend like we can still fix it? And
right.
they're not just owning and saying like, okay, we thought about it, we made mistakes, but here's where we're gonna improve in the future. They're still trying to like I feel like honestly they're J.J. Abrams in the last Star Wars movie just being like, no, I can take this mess and I can totally fix it. It's fine. Everything's fine. And it's like the dog sipping coffee in a house on fire. It's like everything's fine.
Yep.
And DC is still stuck in that mode.
And then no one wants to take they need someone to be the Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
But no one wants to take that job now. Because they made such a mess of this. No one wants it.
Yep.
They were supposedly running into that with Star Wars. No one wanted to take over and do the movies because
it's a mess.
It was such a train wreck. Like, what are we going to do with this?
Yeah.
And so now I think they were asking, what's his name? I forget his first name. Someone Juan that did the Aquaman movie. Can you please spearhead our DC movie franchise? And James Wan?
James Wan, I think, yeah.
But I think he's like, no, I don't. I want.
Can't blame him.
No, I don't blame him.
I don't blame anybody. I mean, for not wanting to take that over. I blame lots of people at DC, but
yeah. So is this a bit of Batman news that's positive we can end on? What's this other bit here?
I mean, yes, no, maybe so. We've got some Batman news because we've gotten some design looks this past week. Not only at Robert Pattinson in the suit. We've gotten some first short camera testing for that. You can't see a whole lot. Unfortunately, it's shot pretty dark and it's shot in this red light. But we've kind of got a first very far away shot of the all important chin sticking out of the bat suit. I mean, it's fine. It's no Ben Affleck butt chin, so at least there's that going on. But then we've also got a little bit of the Batmobile. I am not excited. I won't lie to you about the Batmobile. The Batmobile to me looks like a souped up car. Do you know what I mean? Like it looks like something I could honestly drive around in the future. Like it looks a little bit futuristic. Like I don't see a car like this technically on the market right now, but honestly, like I'm not really finding this terribly exciting. It looks like maybe a futuristic Dodge Charger kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, I saw
Or
some of
like
these
Knight
pictures
Rider.
earlier, I think. Yeah. I they're definitely just going for a different tone,
Yeah, and
you
that's
know?
fine. It's just it doesn't feel very like unique. Like I said, it feels
Hmm.
like the Batmobile feels like a car I could possibly drive in the future, just like a futuristic car. Whereas like I know that was also sort of the point with like Christian Bale, but at least that was far and away not a car. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It wasn't just like Honda's not gonna, make the Batmobile like Christian Bale's Batmobile so that you can just drive around. Like
Mm.
it's definitely different enough. It's like a piece of military tech. So yeah, we're not, ordinary people aren't gonna get their hands on it. But
Yep.
so yeah, and then I was just kind of interested to see that, DC is kind of, as we were speaking about Jared Leto being a more of a cameo type Joker in Suicide Squad, they're going to carry that tradition on in the Batman movie with Colin Farrell's Penguin having a very like cameo
Uh,
like role. We're announcing that. So,
Interesting.
yeah. I'm not sure I love anything about that. Um
Yeah.
I feel like it's a big actor to waste on a Penguin role that's going to be a cameo, and B, kind of on the Penguin himself. Like I'm not feeling Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
I,
not sure.
I'll give him a chance for sure. I think Colin Farrell's pretty cool. But
Mhm.
hopefully this means, to me in my head where it goes is hopefully this means they're not going to try to cast him as Constantine in Justice League Dark,
Mm,
because that was the rumor before, was
yes,
that they were looking at him for that role. When you already have a good actor, Matt Ryan.
I
So
agree. Colin Farrell's too Colin Farrell for Constantine, I think.
I mean, I think Colin Farrell would do an excellent Constantine.
He's made great
There's nothing wrong with Matt
strides.
Ryan. Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
Matt Ryan.
Well, and I
Okay,
think
Alan brings up Bullseye. Alan, that's
oh
not
god,
fair.
that's
Okay,
so bad.
that
That's
was
like the lowest of the
before.
low for poor Colin Farrell. That was so
Colin Farrell, I
terrible.
think, is an
I mean,
excellent
valid
actor.
point though. Valid point, Alan.
He has done like a Matthew McConaughey in my mind.
Yes, he's come a
He
long
was in
way.
a bunch of like poppy action roles, poppy summer blockbuster kind of things, whatever, and got super drunk and on drugs all the time. And then he cleaned up and started doing indie films and
Mhm.
weirder things and whatever. And he's great now.
Yeah. I was gonna say
He's good in everything.
I absolutely love him. One of my favorite roles for him is as Jerry in the Fright Night remake.
Oh
Have you
yeah.
seen that? It's
Yep.
so
Mm-hmm.
good. I
Yeah.
love it. Um,
Yeah.
it's also kind of campy, but in like a really well done way.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, so that
Or
was
what's
like
his
kind of
name?
David Tennant's in that as the pretend vampire hunter.
Oh yeah, I
The
forgot
Las
about
Vegas
that.
showman. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's a
yeah,
good
I
movie.
mean, yeah, that kind of made me start like being like, all right, Colin Farrell's like ready to come back, ready to commit, be serious again,
Yep.
and I've seen him in a few things that I've really appreciated.
Yep.
But I still don't know. Sometimes like I look at him and I see Colin Farrell.
Hmm. I think he basically, I think he wouldn't have to try very hard to be Constantine. I think he would be Constantine. I
I think
just
I think he's a better fit. Like I agree with you that I don't want him to be Constantine, but I think he's a better fit for that than he is the Penguin.
okay.
And it
I
could
mean,
be
I
that I'm
like,
so colored by Danny DeVito's portrayal that I'm
yeah,
having a hard
yeah.
time. But I mean, that's my initial reaction, and
Well,
we'll see if
clearly,
I'm changed.
yeah. Clearly, this version of the Batman is going to be a kind of more grounded
Mm-hmm.
detective noir thing. So we're not going to
Yes.
have Danny DeVito's Penguin for sure. We're gonna have
Well, right, yeah.
a mob
Bless
boss.
you.
Yeah, we're gonna have a mob boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he can do that. And
I
I don't know.
am also a little worried about the sheer number of villains that are going to be in this movie.
Wait, I didn't see a villain list.
Oh, okay. So Paul Dano is going to be playing the Riddler. After Jonah Hill declined. Um,
Oh God,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
someone.
I agree with that. I'm not super like convinced about Paul Dano, but I'm more convinced than I would about Jonah Hill for sure.
Let's see.
And then we're gonna have obviously Colin Farrell as the Penguin. We're going to have oh my gosh, who did they just say was gonna play Carmine Falcone? John Turturro is gonna be Carmine, and then we're gonna have Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. So yeah, so we're gonna have Riddler, Penguin, Carmine Falcone, and Catwoman. That's kind of a lot. Like I know I just said that like Penguin was gonna be a cameo kind of thing, but still, that's a lot to just be there.
I'm stunned.
What are you stunned about?
That is too many villains.
Right? That's 4. That's a lot. I mean, I hope they all have like interesting things to do and they all get their just due. But I mean, with 4 villains, you got to smash them all in there somehow. So.
Wow, we did not end on a happy story.
I know. And I will end on one happy note. I am like super pumped about Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman.
Okay.
Like that to me is like excellent casting. I've seen her work in Big Little Lies and oh gosh, what's the other one? The other show she just went in. Anyway, I've seen her in a bunch of things recently, and I love Zoe Kravitz, and I think she's really growing as an actor. So I think Catwoman could be a fun role for her.
Okay. Well, for me, for Catwoman, anyone that's going to be Catwoman has a lot to live up to. Like, I'm comparing you to Michelle Pfeiffer.
Okay, all right, good.
So, like,
never comparing to Halle Berry
or something.
Yes.
No, that to me is a perfect representation of Catwoman. So whatever else there is, I don't see. This to me reeks of another thing where they're not planning anything out. You
mean like the 4 villains thing, not necessarily Zoe Kravitz?
Yeah. So I mean, right. So I guess like Carmen Falcone, he may be a smaller role or something. You could have people in the film and you hear, oh, this guy, and he's working on he's an important kid in his family or whatever, and so it's pretty minor. And then Riddler, maybe he's your main person, and then Catwoman is more of a love interest. That's fine, but to me, it says like you don't plan on having more Batman movies. If you're worried about shoving in so many known entities into one film,
pretty decent names
save
too.
some.
Yeah.
And are you going to give are you going to give each character their due time,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I was even just like kind of reading the article. I sort of didn't register this in my mind before. But Peter Sarsgaard is going to be Gotham District Attorney Gil Colson, not Harvey Dent, but he just released an Instagram post that's got like a dueling photo in it, a dual nature type photo. So some people are sort of wondering like, oh, is he hinting at being Two-Face? That's another villain to like show up in this movie. Like,
well,
this
he
could just
better not be if he's not Harvey Dent.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't put it past DC to like, throw a new character
to just not care.
Yeah,
to just not.
just like throw this in there and be like, hey, we have a new Two-Face. But yeah, I mean, if that's actually the case and he's not just like teasing fans, then that's 5 villains. That's so much. It's too much.
For audio listeners, I'm sorry, I'm speechless. I just
Yeah,
I,
it's a lot to
I'm not
absorb.
excited.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
lot
not
to
excited
absorb when you
anymore.
really look at it. Yeah.
I'm not excited anymore. I am still excited for the DC fandom event,
Yes.
but
Definitely will be tuning into that. And I hope they have some explanations for us. And there are certainly still DC projects that I am excited about. I honestly have never been excited by Pattinson's Batman.
well, you managed to get me where you are now too. Not excited.
I brought you down to my level. I'm so sorry.
Yep. Mhm.
Maybe as it moves forward, there'll be something, or like they decide to have somebody drop out or whatever. I don't know. Or perhaps, right now they're classifying Catwoman as a villain. Like you said, she could end up being the love interest and, sort of like really she could pull like an Anne Hathaway where she's like the villain, but really like she comes out on Batman's side in the end. So who knows?
So what's going to happen is they're going to make this movie, film all this content, and then they'll cut a bunch of it out. So then
And
in
then
a
we'll be
couple years
clamoring for
afterwards, they'll be
the
like,
yep.
let's do the Matt Reeves cut.
Yeah.
And it's going to be
Reeves
so much better, I promise. Yeah.
Oh
Oh
God.
my God. Well, is there anything else this week? I think Skype is telling me that we need to wrap it up because I
All right.
look like I'm glitching all over the place. I don't know
All
if I
right.
am or not, but maybe I'm clear. I don't know. Anything else? We covered a lot today.
We
I ranted
did.
for a while. Nothing too specific. Like that. A lot of little news that adds up.
Absolutely.
So, got fun plans for the weekend?
Oh boy. Not really. We're just doing some house
Just chilling.
projects and yeah,
Okay,
chilling.
yeah.
So yeah, I've been running a little bit this past week and my foot's still not totally healed. I mean it's more healed, so honestly, like I can see more of the damage that was done to my foot, which
Well,
is kind of scary. But yeah, so I'm just kind of gonna take a break and chill out this weekend, I think.
yep. Well, hopefully it's not making you run too funny that it's like going to make other parts of you sore or pull
Right.
anything or whatever,
As I as I
You're like
compensate,
trying to not run on it.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say I did feel it in my other leg. Like early on, I was trying to compensate, by not walking on my heel, and that was definitely a mistake.
Mhm.
But hopefully, I'm, back to my regular gait.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Well, that's another episode. A whole bunch of stuff. Everybody, if
Mm-hmm.
you think we don't know what we're talking about, you should, you know, message us.
That's right. We've got strong
In the
opinions.
comments on things. Yeah.
I'm not afraid to
You
defend
know,
them.
you can fight back. Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
our website, and here on Twitch. Like, share, follow, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm John. Don't worry about finding me on Twitter. Just go to Popcast on the Rocks. I don't know if you want to tell people where to find you at all or anything like that, Andrea.
Absolutely. You can find me on both Twitter and Instagram as Andrea_upon It's my handle on both.
Nice. Consistency.
That's right. I'm branding.
Yep. And then I want to thank Killing the Flower, the band, for our theme song. Go and check them out on Spotify, and they have an Instagram as well. So give them a like and a share and all those things. And that's about it. We'll be back mid next week for another Doom Patrol spoiler cast, and we'll probably cover in there as well what happens with the Ubisoft event on Sunday. Talk about that a little bit, anyways, up front before we get to the Doom Patrol stuff. So we look forward to seeing you then.
Yeah, the kind of the only time we have good opinions about DC. So Tune in for a bright spot
Yeah.
from DC.
Yes. Right. All right. Thanks for joining me, Andrea.
Sounds good. Night, everybody. Cheers.